Everyone, welcome to Mystery Science EdPub Theater 3000. This was voted the #1 YouTube channel among overeducated, socially awkward shut-ins. 2 years in a row. Anyway, this is a quick rundown of the whole thing with the TEKS and the souls that you've been reading about, and that has been confusing a lot of you, and hopefully we are going to unconfuse you and show you how we're dealing with this in our templates, which we've just adjusted to account for all this stuff. So just a quick overview. The deal is that there's going to be 3 versions of this book that we're working on. There's going to be one that's for the Texas market, and that version will have these TEKS and ELPs that we've been putting in everywhere. But those exist only for Texas. There's going to be another version of the book that is for Virginia. It does not have any ELPs, and it doesn't have any TEKS, but it does have a different standard called a SOL, an SOL. And then there's also a national version that has neither TEKS nor SOLs nor ELPs. So the first place you're going to run into this, if we're looking at these are the A through D pages that I know everybody loves. On the first one, page A, you've got this big old nasty box where you're collecting all of your TEKS and ELPs from the selection. So none of this stuff is going to appear in the Virginia version of the book. What is going to appear is a box in the exact same place that will have SOLs, S-O-Ls. And where you're going to tell the compositor which SOLs go in this box is right here in the gutter of this page. So, if you look at it, we've got them listed out right here. 7.4, student will determine meaning of unfamiliar words. 7.6, blah, 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 right? The idea is that there's usually one SOL that corresponds to each TEK that you have. Now, I'm told that's not always true, but most of the time it will be. So just like you're doing with the TEKs here, where you're gathering them all up from throughout the unit and just listing them out in numeric order, exact same thing down here. You're going to take the corresponding SOLs and list them in numeric order. Now, in terms of how you're determining which SOL goes with which TEK, that's a question you should ask Eric or Sheila because they're much closer to this. I do know that on the Google Drive, there's this folder right here, Scopes and Standards. This has breakout charts for TEKs and SOLs, but in terms of like what the best way to, the quickest way to handle that is, please do ask the editors. So let's just go a little bit further through this template. So this is one place where you're going to find these two layers, and that's what all these yellow boxes here are notes to the compositor, telling them how to deal with the different layers that create the different books. So in this case, you're putting your SOLs down here in the gutter. What's a lot more common though, and that you'll see all over the place is, and let's see if we can get there. Okay, so like right here. So this is the second page of a just regular old selection. It's the the get ready page. It has the quick start and it has your skills, which are whatever they are, cite evidence or whatever, right? And as you're all familiar with, they've got these TEKs listed out next to them. Now they also should have corresponding SOLs for these TEKs, just like on that other page. And so what we've done is we've created these little text boxes that just float. They can go wherever, right? You'll see them in your templates as they're sent out to you. And you can just click in there, and it takes a little bit of getting used to figure out how to select into these boxes. And so whatever SOL goes with this TEK, say it's whatever, it's TEK 4, and that happens to be SOL 3. Sorry. Like I say, it's sometimes a little hard to select exactly what you want. That's supposed to be 3.5, whatever. So this is so the compositor knows there's already a note here saying the TEKs only go on the Texas layer. On the Virginia layer, you're going to have SOLs, and they are going to be in these little red boxes. And that's what this is telling them there. Another thing that we have to do to deal with these 2 layers is right down here. The scaffolding, when we're breaking out the whatever it is, the learning level, right? So here it's intermediate. That is how Texas refers to an intermediate learner. The Virginia and national version refers to an intermediate learner as moderate, or it's not even quite even that, but moderate corresponds to intermediate. Eric sent out an email the other day that breaks down what the corresponding levels are. So intermediate is moderate, let's see. Beginning is substantial and advanced is light. Now that is like super counterintuitive, and I didn't understand it at first. Why is a beginning learner in Texas a substantial learner um, in Virginia and the national version? The idea is that the Texas levels are saying what level of learner are there? Are they? These are beginning learners. They're kids who are just learning English. But the national and Virginia version looks at it as how much support do they need? And they need substantial support. So a beginning learner needs substantial support. Like I said, this is all, it's not like you have to decide which is which. It's always, if it's beginning, it's substantial. If it's intermediate, it's moderate. If it's advanced, it's light. And like I said, that's all in that email that Eric sent out, I think, on Saturday or Sunday. Now that's about it. I just wanted to, one more thing I just wanted to touch on is, of course, these templates are just empty. So when you come in to write them, of course, you're putting in way more text, right? So all this stuff's going to start floating down. And so now you've got your TEK here and you've got your SOL box up here. It doesn't really matter where this box goes. This is just a note to the compositor. It's not like it appears on the same page. It's either this appears or the TEK appears. So all we want to do is just make sure it's close enough to its corresponding TEK that it's obvious what it's referring to. So these boxes are real easy to drag. All you have to do is put your cursor over it, and you see it's got these little four pointy things. Then click and hold, and then you can drag it wherever you want. Like I say, you have to get used to selecting these things, but it's really pretty easy. And if you need another one, if you've you've added a, I don't know when you would need to do this, but if you ever need to create another one of these boxes or of these boxes, that's also real easy. You select it, wait for these little squares to come around it, and while you're in there and it's selected, it's just Command C or Control C on a PC, and then you just click out somewhere else, and then Command V or Control V, and nothing happens. Okay, let's try that again. Command C, Command V. There you go. And so now I've just created another one, and you can move that wherever you need it. Okay, that's about it. If you got questions, let me know. Hopefully this was enlightening. Okay, thanks a lot.